The first thing I notice in working with CEOs is that the budget should follow the plan, not the other way around.
And a special thank you to our sponsor for this episode, Oswego Private Wealth Management. Welcome to another $4 million strategy, the best 4 minutes in business for practical strategies and tips you could apply to your business today. All right, very excited to have with us Glenn Gow, CEO Success Coach. Glenn, today's topic is how do we create an annual operating plan or budget? And I'll use it from your perspective, from the CEO perspective.
Thank you, Carl. It's a pleasure to be here. From the CEO perspective, the first thing I notice in working with CEOs is that the budget should follow the plan, not the other way around. Some of my CEOs start with an annual budgeting process. However, budgeting is just a tool to support the strategy and the plan. We don't want the budget to drive the plan. First, we need to agree on the strategy and the plan for the year. Then we go through a budgeting exercise to manage our constraints. We'll discover where some things aren't feasible and we may need to adjust the budget as a result of that. And we may need to move money from one organization to another or one project to another. So it's the strategy and plan that drive the budget. Now, for most companies, I believe in what I call activity-based flexible budgeting. Here's what I mean by that. Activity-based budgeting means that each functional head, the head of marketing, the head of sales, etc., will propose what budget they need to achieve the plan. Remember, we've focused on the plan and agreed on the plan. Flexible means that we will update this quarterly. So even though we're developing an annual plan, we're going to update it quarterly. Now, I'm a huge fan of having a management framework of some kind, like OKRs or EOS, to update the progress and modify our targets quarterly. This creates great flexibility on the budgeting side as we can allocate resources as we learn about our progress and challenges with that progress. So let me pause there, Carl.
First of all, I loved how you talked about two key things. One is strategy first, then budget. I think that is excellent advice. And it's amazing how many times people create a strategy and budget completely independently. And it's like, well, no wonder why we have constraints, right? Because we didn't even put money to make sure that gets done. So that's one key thing I thought you said was brilliant. The other side behind it is learning whether it worked or didn't work.
The beauty of my favorite management framework is OKRs, but it doesn't matter what management framework you have. The beauty of this is that it's on a 90-day cycle. And so what that means is we're going to learn throughout the quarter, how are we doing against the plan? And then even before those 90 days are up, usually around 75 days into the quarter, assuming a 90-day quarter, we're going to start planning again for the next quarter. And we're going to have information to help us determine what do we need to modify in our plan next quarter, and therefore, how do we need to modify our budgets? So if we are ahead on sales, we might allocate more. If we're behind on profitability, we might pull some money back from different areas, or we might say, this has become even more strategic. We're going to allocate more money in this one area and take it away from somewhere else. But it gives us a chance to revisit this planning process every 90 days.
Yeah. And I think that's an absolute brilliant. And once again, for those who aren't familiar with OKRs, Glenn is down in the Bay Area. And so there's a very common thing of OKRs, but it's objectives and key results. John Doerr made this famous, but it's been around for a really long period of time, all the way back to the Intel days of the,
right.
Yep. And so long time. But the good news is if you apply these type of concepts to get things done and measure consistently, then you could actually make sure you're managing your budget, not just the beginning, but throughout the year to make sure you're maximizing your results. Glenn, thank you so much for being a part of $4 million strategies.
Perfect. Always a pleasure.
To our listeners listening, thank you so much. The reason why we get people like Glenn to be on our podcast is because of subscribers like you. Please like or share with a friend. That means the world to us. Thank you so much.